The Dark Side Cave on the planet Dagobah in Empire Strikes Back was one of the most influential places for Luke's training and development as a Jedi. It gave him the first taste of the dark side and the devastating reality that came along with it. It showed Luke all of his internal fears and worries about his future, and all of the dark side thoughts that he held within him. On top of this, Master Yoda used the dark side presence of the cave to mask his light side manifestation from Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. So how did the cave on Dagobah become such a strong dark side location? Before we discover the true secrets of the dark side cave on Dagobah, remember to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on the video so that I can continue bringing out plenty more videos just like this. The story begins with Jedi apprentice Minch as he is assigned to hunt down the increasing numbers of dark Jedi that have been popping up throughout the galaxy. They were a severe threat to the existence of the Jedi Order. Minch was a young male member of Yoda's species, meaning that he was extremely proficient in the Force and amazingly talented in lightsaber combat. He was assigned to this dark Jedi hunting mission along with a small group of other Jedi who were deemed capable of completing the task. Minch eventually confronted one of the dark Jedi, cornering him in a very small room. Although being in an extremely dangerous position, the Dark Jedi began taunting Minch, telling him he should go home and meditate instead of taking part in combat on the front lines. He also went on to state that the Council must be desperate to send a group of young Padawans to hunt down a being as powerful as me. Minch remained calm despite the constant taunting, embracing his Jedi training and the instruction of his master. The Dark Jedi eventually got the best of Minch, knocking him to the floor with ease. Luckily for him, the rest of the Jedi squad were very close behind him and were able to come to his aid. The Jedi easily outnumbered the Dark Jedi but were outmatched on their skill in the Force and sheer fighting ability. The Jedi squad were eager to find out the master of this Dark Jedi, hoping to discover more evidence about the leadership behind these rogue Jedi. They demanded he hand over the name of his master and who was leading his group. As he was outnumbered and had nowhere to escape to, he accepted his defeat, taking his own life. The Dark Jedi swore a pledge to never reveal the true origin of their order, even if it meant paying for it with your own life. The group of Jedi did not get much time to investigate the body of the Dark Jedi, as their scanners had detected the unauthorized launch of a small ship from their location. They believed that the other Dark Jedi that was spotted previously may have been working with the slain Dark Side user. If this was another group of Dark Jedi that were escaping, the group must catch them, or risk losing critical information. They frantically hailed the escaping ship as it sped off of the surface of the planet, but received no response. The nav computers on board the Jedi ships calculated that the escaping ship was headed towards the Dagobah system. This puzzled the young Jedi, as the Dagobah system was recorded as having no technology, massive lifeform readings, and strong storms in its upper atmosphere. These conditions would make it almost impossible to attempt a landing there. The leader of the Jedi squadron was satisfied that there was no way that this dark side user could survive his landing on Dagobah and moved back into a tactical retreat formation, preparing for return to the Jedi Council. Minch, however, was not going to let his defeat against the Dark Jedi be forgotten and deviated from the formation to follow him. The squadron leader furiously called Minch back into formation for departure, but his calls fell on deaf ears. Minch was determined to make up for his previous loss against the Dark Jedi. Following the ion trails of the Dark Jedi ship, Minch was able to locate the approximate location of landing for the ship. The rough storms caused Minch to violently crash into a lake, but he was unharmed. Unfortunately, his ship did not fare as well, taking severe damage and being unable to get off of the ground. He reported the damage of the ship to his squadron leader, who agreed to send a rescue team down for him as soon as the storms in the upper atmosphere had cleared. While reflecting on the journey that had led him to the mysterious planet of Dagobah, he spotted the slightest glimpse of a figure that looked to be human. Minch leapt up and began to pursue this figure into the dense jungle of Dagobah, but it was severely slowed by the swampy mulch and creeping vines. The delay only angered Minch, prompting him to ignite his lightsaber and slice through every vine and tree that obstructed his path. His path led him to a dark cave covered in vines and roots that emanated a slight hum and a strong disturbance in the Force. Minch could now sense an unknown figure calling upon it to surrender and lay down its weapon. Minch was frozen still with anticipation as he awaited a response from the shadowy figure. A raspy voice emerged from the cave, startling Minch, before telling him that he is not the only Dark Jedi of his kind. Minch attempted to show his strength by proclaiming his membership of the Jedi Order and his strength with the light side of the Force, but to no avail. The dark being did not feel threatened at all, provoking Minch into striking the first blow. With an undertone of rage and a bristle of regret for his first failure, Minch leapt into the air and swung his saber down at the dark figure. His strike was swiftly blocked and returned by the powerful being. The figure then did something that shocked Minch to the core. He used a form of force projection to enlarge himself and tower above the young Jedi. Minch focused all of his past training and relinquished any fear that he held, hastily slicing the figure in half. Unfortunately for Minch, this was yet another force trick. The figure split into hundreds of miniature versions of itself, swarming Minch and leaving him greatly overwhelmed. Minch was on the edge of his life, not believing that he would live a single second longer. The young Jedi's tedious hours of training at the temple finally began to flow back into him, allowing him to cast off his fears and stop the corruption of the dark side being. As his mind was clear and the light side surrounded him, he was able to resist the temptations of the dark side and free himself. The Force tricks immediately stopped and the dark side figure was revealed to be a member of the Dark Jedi cult from the previous encounter. Although he had announced it at the beginning of their battle, Minch did not believe it until now. Minch swiftly disposed of the Dark Jedi, leaving his blood to pour out into the cave and his essence to surround it. Unknown to Minch and the Jedi Order of the time, the blood and life essence of this dark side user would forever blemish the cave, turning it into a strong shrine to the dark side and increasing its presence in the dark side of the Force. That was the story of why the cave on Dagobah is so strong in the dark side. If you enjoyed that story, remember to hit the subscribe button, leave a like and comment so I can keep producing more awesome videos just like this. Cheers guys.